All right. We should be live. Give me a minute. You guys know what I got to do. I got to go here and check this to make sure that we streaming, man. One time I had did what I felt was a really good show, man. And when I went back to check it out, I wasn't even recording. So give me a minute. I'm trying to just see if I'm live, which right now it doesn't look like I'm live. All right. So let's see what's going on. All right. So here it says I'm live. All right. But I'm on Facebook now. It doesn't have me live. So what's going on, Facebook? What's going on? Okay, now I'm coming up as live. All right, so let's see. Okay, there I am. There's my handsome face. All right, guys. So what's up? What's up? How are you guys doing, man? This is your man Orville J. Parker, aka Coach. Welcome to this episode of the show. All right, so on the day's live, man, I got something that I want to break down to you guys. All right, I want to share with you guys. And basically, what we're going to be talking about today is if you want to change your world around you, all right, you have to change your world on the inside of you. All right, really let that sink in. If you want to change your world around you, you have to change your world on the inside of you. So, what is that saying? All right, what is that saying? All right, what that is saying is that the world we see and experience is a byproduct of how we think on the inside. And what that also tells you is that you manifest from the inside out. You transform from the inside out. So if you don't like what you're looking at out here in the world, you don't like your experiences, you don't like your place in life, you don't like your body, your relationships, your finances, all right, any of that. If you want to make a change in any of the what we call the effect, which is the physical realm that we look at, you have to go and you have to work on the cause, right? Which is your inner world, your inner game. And when you really think about that, there's several ways you can look at this. One of the ways is that you can look at it and say, okay, everything in my life is a byproduct of what I've created. Now, depending on what that looks like, is going to determine how you feel about that. But when you look at the world and say everything that I see, experience is a byproduct of me creating it through my thoughts, my beliefs, and my actions, then if it's not what you want to see, you could take 100% ownership of that. But guess what you get with that also? You get the empowerment, the power to understand that you can change your reality because you're in control of that. And a lot of times we try to work on the effect. We try to work on the fruit instead of working on the root. And if you really understand what this is saying, if you want to change your world around you, you have to change your word inside of you, all right, your world inside of you. That means that you have to grow, you have to change, you have to shift on the inside, all right? That's the cause. Then the effect will manifest in a way to where it's congruent with what's on the inside of you. And see, a lot of times, man, we go directly, we default to effect, all right? We don't like something, man, we're physically trying to change that in the physical realm, and that's not the way things work. That's not the way things manifest. And so the cool thing is that you can reprogram your mind, you can reprogram your inner world. And as a result, you can change the picture that you see out here. I heard one guy say it. He said it real good. He said that your outer world is a printout of your inner world. It's just like if you went to your printer and pushed the button and say, "Print me a copy of this picture." All right, that's what your outer world is. And see, a lot of times we fall into the error of trying to change the picture. All right, instead of trying to change the source. All right. And so, one of the things, what I want you guys to do is as you move forward, okay, I want you to keep this in mind That change happens from the inside, then it manifests on the outside. Your body can't go where your mind hasn't already went. So if you want a different reality, you're going to have to become a different person on the inside to be able to step into that or to manifest that different reality. And so one of the things I was telling myself was, I said, okay, what I need to do is I need to constantly and I need to be consistent and vigilant on looking at my reality and then having the clarity to understand where it's at, right? And then instead of going out here and say, okay, well, look, I want to go accomplish this, I want to go work on this, I want to go do this. Instead, I'm changing the phrase. I'm saying I want to become this. And if you really think about it, the only thing we can do is become, right? Because when we become, then we're putting a permanent solution in place. We're not working on the byproduct of something. We're going to that source again. And one of the easiest ways to start changing who you are on the inside of what you believe or what you think is by starting to educate yourself or feed your brain with different ideas, different syntaxes, different protocols that are different than what you're currently holding in your mind. And the way that I do this is I like to read, man, or I like to listen to a good podcast or a good audiobook. But I like to go out there and find some type of book that's going to speak to me at the level that I'm at right now, with what I'm dealing with right now. And so, one of the things that I'm studying out this year is the whole mind thing, the power of the subconscious mind, and how our subconscious mind is responsible for 90% of our behavior. Really think about that. So our unconscious mind, or what we call our automatic mind, controls 90% of our behavior, and as a result, controls 90% of what we believe. As a result, controls 90% of what we manifest. And so, if we want to change that, then we have to understand this. And when you think about it, your subconscious mind is unlimited. It has the capabilities of tapping into what we call that superconscious mind, right? And when you really, really think about it, your subconscious mind is responsible, all right, for our current reality. And it's like a worker, right? We give it a command, which our conscious mind gives our subconscious mind a command, and then it's the job of our subconscious mind to bring that forth to make that a reality. So if we're trying to transform from the inside out, the first thing we have to do is we have to change what we're putting into our mind. Garbage in, garbage out, right? So we want to start making sure that we take control and we be intentional on how we program our mind. Then we need to start working on what we think, what we believe, and then as a result, that's going to affect how we act. All right. That's going to affect that whole behavior thing. So as a result, if we course correct and we change on how we think and what we do, and we start putting in place some actions that are in alignment with what we want to what we want our ultimate outcome to be, then as a result, we'll start manifesting that new reality, because now we're working on the source. We're going to the source of the problem. We're working on the root, not the fruit. Okay? Hopefully that makes sense to you. So I'm going to challenge you guys. I'm going to challenge you as you go forward in your week and for the rest of the year. I want you to understand that, first of all, in order for you to make any change, you have to understand where you're at. So do an audit on your life, man. Sit down and really think about where you're at. Try to get some clarity, a correct view of who you are and where you at. Then you have to ask yourself, okay, in a perfect world, in the perfect life, what would this look like? All right, what would this look like? And then you have to sit down. You have to say, okay, who do I need to become in order to manifest this kind of reality? And then once you figure that out, then you need to get to work. You need to put your head down and start working on what we call inner growth, inner self. And remember, all right, if you want to change the world around you, you have to change the world on the inside of you. Okay? Orville J. Parker, aka Coach. I'll catch you guys on next video. God bless.